Matt, what's your name again?
Juice.
Matt and Josh sell comics. X-Men 97 is out, and we thought we'd talk about some little news articles about it. First, I guess let's talk about, did it suck?
Not even close.
Yeah.
It was so good. Oh my god, it was good. Wow.
I suppose we should put this little spoilers thing on there.
Oh, it was good.
So the first episode, I think the second episode was stronger, but the first episode was no slouch. It was a bit of like getting you back into it, a little recap.
Yeah.
Kind of reintroduction of the characters. Introducing a new character, Robert DaCosta. Roberto DaCosta or Robert DaCosta?
Isn't he? But he's Sunspot, right?
Yeah.
So, not new. He just
Roberto DaCosta. Yeah.
He's just been done dirty because he was in the last movie, Apocalypse. Is that right?
Was he? No. The last one was Phoenix. Was he in the Apocalypse one? I don't know. I don't even remember that movie.
Okay.
Anyways. Yeah. Animation is spot on. Like old but updated.
Yeah.
Music's great. Obviously, the voices are a little bit different. I had a friend text me who was livid what they had done to Beast voice, except it's the same actor. It's just 25 years later.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he's 30 years older. It's not gonna sound the same.
Yeah.
Although I suppose with AI they could have done that. They're teasing the Magneto Rogue relationship.
Teasing, my god, they threw it in our fucking faces. Holy shit, dude.
Well, we haven't seen any fucking yet.
No.
Gambit's obviously gonna be a little jealous. Yeah, looks like Cyclops might leave with Jean. I don't know, although that spoiler, a second Jean shows up at the end of episode 2, so you don't really know. Nathan Summers is born.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, so pretty great. Looking forward to the rest of the season.
Great. There was Sunspot in Days of Future Past. They put him in.
Was he in the beginning? Did he get nailed in the? Oh, he might have got killed in the beginning.
I think he
with Bishop was in there, played by the great Omar Sy, who's just kind of you've wasted him. Well, I guess he could come back as Bishop again, if they want him to. But there's other actors who can do Bishop. Omar Sy's getting old. Plus, he's got that huge show in Lupin, which is great.
Yes.
And then they also had Blink in Days of Future Past. And who else was in the beginning of that got murdered? Colossus?
I'm trying to remember, but I'm forgetting for some reason. Colossus, maybe?
Yeah, I think he was in there.
I'll have to check.
Anyways, we're talking about X-Men 97. So,
it was so good.
Yeah, so the let's go with the Rotten Tomatoes score first, I guess.
Okay, I'm curious, but sure.
So the reviews are in for X-Men 97. Marvel Studios has its highest rated title on Rotten Tomatoes. As of this writing, as we write this, there are more than 24 verdicts have been counted, and the X-Men has a 100% perfect score. I wonder if it's still at that. Yes, it is still at 100%. 92% audience score. 46 reviews for critics. 250 plus ratings for audience. Yeah, so it's still quite high rating. Obviously 100% for critics. I'm not sure if that's Marvel's highest rated audience score.
No.
I suppose Endgame might be higher? Or Infinity War? Just out of the top of my head. Oh, no, same, 92%.
Huh.
Yeah. Winter Soldier?
I feel like it's got to be one of the highest.
suppose I could have just Googled this total, but...
It's okay. Let's do it
Oh,
live.
another 92%. They really love the 92% for audience score. They can't never get above 92. Anyways, yeah, so obviously season 2 has been announced. There will be a season 2. And we kind of know how X-Men 97 will adapt its story. I guess this is still spoilers. When X-Men the animated series hit the scene in the 90s, it knew how important the Marvel Comics it was based on really were. Though many episodes were totally original through its 5-year run, X-Men the animated series would adapt to the likes of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's X-Men 1, X-Men comics written by Larry Hama, and countless comics written by franchise cornerstone Chris Claremont. With the upcoming X-Men 97, however, that tradition will continue, and it will even start exploring X-Men comics that were published after X-Men animated series was canceled. Speaking interview with comicbook.com, Brad Winderbaum, head of streaming and television and animation at Marvel Studios, an executive producer for X-Men 97, confirmed that, yes, the series will be drawing heavily from the publishing arm of Marvel. Quote, just like the original series that was drafting so heavily from Chris Claremont's work, we're continuing that. We're looking at the late 70s, mid-70s to early 90s kind of era. We do start to play outside of the Chris Claremont sandbox a little bit into the 90s. Almost getting to Grant Morrison, but it's definitely just like the OG series. It's drafted from the stories from the books. Some of the X-Men storylines that were published after the series ended was the Giant Onslaught crossover, which not a lot of people liked. Something that the series could seemingly adapt in some form. As readers may recall, Grant Morrison's work on New X-Men kicked off in 2001 and carried over through 2004. Elements of their work will be incorporated into the MCU with the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine bringing characters Cassandra Nova. Morrison's version of the X-Men also introduced major characters that continue to play key parts of the X-Men, the Quentin Quire and the Stepford Cuckoos, who could appear at some point if the series continues. I'm pretty sure I saw in the trailer, one of the original trailers, I think Dust was in the trailer, who is part of Grant Morrison's new X-Men.
I don't remember Dust in the trailer, but there very well could be there. I mean, we were wrong about Sunspot, so that's okay.
Yeah, so Dust is a Muslim character who wears, what's that thing called? Not a hijab. What's the other thing?
I honestly, I'm not sure.
Anyway, it's completely covered.
Yes, I forget what it's called.
Niqab, sorry. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure in the trailer Dust was there. And she's part of she's brought into the new X-Men. But, yeah, so we'll see. And Grant Morrison is pretty well liked across the board, I think, as a comic writer. Not sure as celebrated as Chris Claremont for his X-Men run, but I think a lot of people like the new X-Men run. Continuing on with that, we have a bit of news about Bo DeMeo, who was the original showrunner of X-Men 97. So it came out that he was fired about a week before the show came out, a week and a half, or he'd been let go. I don't know. There's some conflicting reports. Someone from Disney said, we parted ways. Others are like, he was fired. So, I don't know. This report says, contrary to social media scuttlebutt, his dismissal said to have nothing to do with the fact that he's black or gay. Who would have thought that was why?
Well, they have to say it now. It's a given. Like, they have to that's the first thing they go, that's terrible. Jeff
Schneider reports that he was an absolute nightmare to deal with on a daily basis, with the suggestion being he was a difficult presence behind the scenes. DeMeo has also had to have raised concerns with Disney higher-ups regarding his non-nude OnlyFans account. It is said that they found his conduct on the platform unsettling and creepy. The creative has yet to comment, but deleted his Instagram account earlier this month. He left Twitter some time ago after frequently clashing with fans about the show. In other news, Variety recently spoke with X-Men 97's creative team about the return of Morph and the fact that the character is now non-binary, rocking a different look to the version we've seen in X-Men the animated series. The decision has been named woke, but his creators have now hit back at the fans. Quote, for me, the word non-binary is the same as the word shapeshifter, Larry Houston says. Every character that can change from one gender to another Or from human to animal, that's just another word for shapeshifter for me. Eric Lewald believes the first signs of this change were made an appearance during the X-Men animated series second season. Quote, he attacks Wolverine, his close friend, in the most dramatic way by turning into Jean Grey and putting his hand on Wolverine's neck and leaning in for a kiss. That's as non-binary as you can get. It's Morph turning into a woman and coming onto Wolverine to freak him out. It was all there in Morph's character. Now it's become such a social thing that I think people will be more sensitive to how it's used. That's the only difference. We didn't see a problem in reading him, and we didn't feel that he was any different. Julia Leewald adds, did we teach you people nothing? Were you not watching? Did we not figure out how to be nice to each other and how to get along? It's very odd to feel like we were still dealing with the same issues that we were dealing with 30 years ago. It's painful.
Imagine that, eh?
Yeah.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
I mean, it makes sense in the character. Like, he doesn't really have a gender. He can go back and forth. Like, why does it matter?
I think the only substantial claim / like, I don't know, reasonable issue I might find is that, if I understand correctly, and I remember seeing like slashes of him in each season. Yeah. And like from the first season to the end of the series, the original, his appearance changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people felt they refined his look, that by the end of the series, you know, he was pretty defined as Morph, with the, you know, the voice and the laugh and everything. And then I think obviously with this change, a lot of people felt that was kind of lost on the character, to have all that development in the previous series to be kind of not there, I guess, where I guess artistically and whatever, but I mean, he morphed into a white dude, so it's just like he could have been anybody, right? So I really don't see much of a problem with this or whatever.
I also saw that one of the other producers said that they always thought of Morph as non-binary. It's just they didn't have those terms back then, so he didn't really know what to call himself or themselves, and they didn't have they them. It wasn't a thing that was in the narrative at the time in the early 90s. And even though non-binary people existed, they didn't know what to call them. They didn't have a word for it. So
because the man didn't let him.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why that's a thing to be picky over. The first 2 episodes are really good. Looking forward to the rest and more seasons to come.
Yes, agreed. Also, Cyclops was amazing. Did they not just give him all the dirtiest moments, eh? Holy fuck.
Yeah, they made him a more interesting character in the first 2 episodes, I think, than they had in the last 5 seasons of the first one.
I would say so. He felt like, I would say in the previous, he was quite, not whiny, but a little whiny.
Sure.
And this one, he was like...
A bit Luke Skywalker.
Dope! Yeah. Oh my god. It was amazing.
All right, that's X-Men 97 news.